challenging assignments we have, and our working environment. We're now at the point of determining whether or not he would be the best qualified person to handle the job. To get that answer, I'll move into the fifth step of the interviewing process, applicant self-evaluation. This simply means I want Ted to look at himself objectively. How does he feel about his ability to handle the challenge of the IBM job? What's he looking for in a job? Where does he want to be in the future? What will he bring to IBM? Probing questions that will make him think and try to convince me, through an evaluation of himself, that he is IBM material. Tell me, Ted, have you given any thought to what you're looking for in a job?
Very much so. I definitely like to tackle problems working on high technology projects.
What makes you think you could handle complex assignments?
Well, I really think that given a stimulating working environment, I would have the kind of analytical mind that would enable me to solve complex problems. I consider myself an inventive type of person, and I would find great satisfaction in coming up with new ideas and then following them through to some practical application.
How about pressures? As the computer becomes more complex, our work becomes more complex, and we work closely with manufacturing, deadlines, sometimes long working hours.
Well, I've found that some of my best work has been done under pressure, and I feel that it stimulates me. If anything, it keeps me alert.
Well, Ted, how would you sum up what you feel you have to offer IBM?
Well, I have a strong background in electrical engineering, as you can see. I've maintained a high grade average. I'm not afraid of work. I believe I work very well in a teamwork type of situation. I have a fairly good analytical mind. I believe I adapt very well in a learning situation. And I'm an innovator. I think I can make a very solid contribution to whatever project I might be assigned to. Also, I believe it boils down to this. I want to work for a company that can offer me the best in facilities, in professional growth, and also in opportunities for me to use my creative abilities to their fullest.
Fine. I want you to know I am impressed with your background, and there may be several positions that we could explore together. So I'd like to invite you to pay us a visit and meet some of our managers and professionals and see our facilities firsthand, okay?
Oh, I'd like that very much.
Let me give you some brochures to look through. And here's an employment application form. I'd like you to fill this out and return it to me in the self-addressed envelope. And I'd like you to sign this release form so we can get a copy of your college transcript.
Fine.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I don't believe so. I think you've covered everything I had on my mind.
All right. Well, as soon as I receive your application, I'll set up a date for your visit and be back to you.
I look forward to that. Thanks a lot. I've really enjoyed this.
In the fifth step, I encourage Ted to evaluate himself, to measure his skills and interests against the requirements of our job. Did we have a good match? I was satisfied that Ted had the kind of talent we needed. Enough so to invite him in for further interviews and evaluation. This I did in the sixth and last step, closing the interview. Ted left the interview with a clear understanding of what to expect next. Immediately after each interview, it's important that you complete an applicant evaluation form. When you're interviewing as many as a dozen students a day, you can't trust what you've covered to memory. Not every interview you conduct will be as promising as the one you've just seen. The majority of candidates will be rejected, and that's always tough. You want to make a friend for IBM, and yet you must be honest and fair with the candidate. It isn't advisable to reject on the spot. It's much too abrupt. Let's look in on one way you might set the stage for turning down an applicant. Well, Joe, I've enjoyed talking to you, but I want you to know I'm interviewing a lot of applicants for these jobs, and the competition is intense. We can select only a few.
I realize that.
You've signed up for interviews with other companies?
Yes, I have. I want to see what everyone has to offer.
Fine. Well, Joe, I appreciate you telling me about yourself. I'll review your qualifications along with those of the other candidates, and you'll hear back from us within 10 days. Thank you for coming in, and I wish you success in your job hunting. Our earlier candidate, Ted, of course, is first-rate material. But you should remember that other companies are probably after the same caliber of student we are. So don't overlook the need to do a selling job for IBM. In Ted's case, I arranged for a visit later that month. Meetings were set up with managers in logic simulation, physical design, graphics, and release systems. Those areas that are similar to my own area of logic design. We wanted Ted to see everything we had to offer, talk to several managers, and mutually explore in depth his interest and abilities against the requirements of various job assignments. Although these interviews went into much greater detail than I did in the initial on-campus meeting, each of these managers followed the same basic 6 steps. Let's review them briefly once again. First, pre-plan your interview. Study the applicant's resume and give some thought to the kind of questioning and probing you'll want to do for that particular applicant. Step 2, open the interview. Put your candidate at ease by establishing a personal rapport with that individual right at the start. 3, get information. Find out as much as possible about the candidate's total background, experience, and present behavior. Step 4, give information to the applicant. Tell the person about the kind of company we are, our concern for the role the individual plays in our working environment, about the job opening, and answer any questions the applicant may have about career opportunities. Step 5, encourage self-evaluation by the applicant. Get the person to relate his or her past record of behavior and accomplishments to the requirements of the job we have open, and to the environment in which that person will be functioning. In that way, you should be able to make a preliminary judgment about whether or not that person will meet our high-quality standards for employment. 6, close your interview session on a positive note, whether or not your candidate is a prospective hire. Now, this procedure may sound simple, but it isn't. Like any kind of endeavor, it takes training and practice to do a good job. Most of us can improve on our skills even further if we work at it. And by following the principles demonstrated in this film, you'll get the information you need from an applicant to make a sound business judgment. Is this the best possible person for IBM? At the same time, you'll be able to bring out the attractive features of both IBM and the job, so that qualified candidates will be interested in coming with us. We don't want to lose good people, nor can we afford to hire less than the best. IBM's emphasis is on quality. Our continued success in meeting our employment objectives with the very best of talent is largely dependent on the decisions you make as you represent IBM during the employment interview.